Hi, I'm Justine Smith with CUTV's Beyond the Film Festival. Today we're continuing our coverage of the Fantasia International Film Festival as we are going to talk about a couple of John Waters films, but not only that, we're talking about two John Waters films starring Divine. This is because Fantasia is screening a documentary on Divine called I Am Divine. I've said that many times. Directed by Jeffrey Schwartz. They will also be playing, I believe in conjunction with the Cinematheque, one of John Waters' most appreciated films, Polyester. So today I have a returning guest. I have Ethan, and Ethan and I will be discussing Female Trouble as well as Polyester. So hi, Ethan.
Hey.
Welcome. So I guess we'll go into Female Trouble first. Might as well go chronological. I almost never know how to start with John Waters because it's always an experience. So do you?
I can actually start with something, kind of talking about it as an experience. I first saw this movie in my queer cinema class last year, and we watched it back to back with Desperate Living. The thing is, I really like John Waters movies. They're really funny. But, I mean, I can imagine for people in that class having to watch 3 hours of John Waters in one night. Maybe people who had never seen a John Waters movie before. Maybe people who haven't seen a lot of movies before. Like how... I can imagine it being pretty torturous for some of those people.
I can imagine that, too, because my first introduction to John Waters was before I knew who John Waters was. When I was a kid, like 14, maybe 15, and I turned on the TV and Pink Flamingos was on, and I watched it, and I'm like... It was when I first started to get into film, so I was watching movies like Stanley Kubrick and Bergman, and I'm like, I'll watch Pink Flamingos, not knowing what it was. It was traumatic. I think it was only after the fact, years later, that I realized how funny and how unique John Waters' vision is, because as disturbing as his work is, it's always funny. And it's always celebratory. I feel as though he doesn't really revel in the darkness or the dirt or the grime of his world. He sees, like, I mean, with Female Trouble, they're always talking about the beauty of crime. They literally say it in the film. Like, there's the ugliness is what brings out the beauty in the world. And I don't think it's ironic. I don't think he's trying to poke fun at the people, like, these are his friends. It's the people he works with. He's not making fun of them.
Even when, like, especially in Polyester, when he's kind of putting these characters under a lot of emotional strain, so to speak, it's almost more just because I can imagine him and Divine laughing to themselves about these things they're doing on screen.
That's it. You have this idea. It's like this camaraderie. I find that word really hard to say. Between himself. The work that he's producing in terms of a script and plotting, as well as the people he's working with, that just seems like a good time. And they're people who clearly have a very dark sense of humor. Yeah. I mean, just looking at Female Trouble, Divine plays two characters in the film. She plays the main character, who's a teenage girl it's like rape, but it's not really, because she's really into it, like, the whole time. Yeah. It just seems like rape. But she's raped by the other character who she plays. Yes. So she rapes herself and has a child. Yes.
Who she does a very bad job of parenting.
She's a very bad parent.
Yes.
A really, really bad parent.
Yeah.
On both ends, as a mother and a father.
But, I mean, you see it, too, how she had a bad childhood. For example, when my favorite scene in the movie is the Christmas morning scene, where it's I wanted the cha-cha heels.
Yeah, and then she destroys Christmas. She wanted these shoes so much. And her parents are like these, like, Divine is like Divine, right? Like, over the top, totally fabulously wonderful in every imaginable way. Mm-hmm. And her parents are like these little... They remind me of, like, English Canadians from just outside of the suburbs in Toronto, because they're so meek. Yeah. And they're like, but dear, aren't those the shoes you wanted? And then the father, like, those are the shoes you wanted are for sluts. And then she just tears down the Christmas tree and is like, aren't they all? It's really, really, really funny. Really good.
It is really good.
And I also enjoyed just the irony of the film and how the action unfolds as Divine really starts to revel in crime. She revels in the ugliness of life or the criminality. There's nothing worse in the world than to be a very boring
Yeah.
Is it this movie or Polyester where one of the characters is really upset that her son is a heterosexual? I think it's Female Trouble.
Yes. Yeah.
She's really upset that her son is a heterosexual because he will undoubtedly live an extremely boring life, and there's nothing worse than that.
And we should mention too, I mean, John Waters, at least his early films, are very much stripped of aesthetics, I'd say.
Yeah, this one,
But
though,
in an interesting way.
this one I like the aesthetic qualities. Not necessarily, it's not like he's a dynamic filmmaker in terms of camera movements or even editing, but the design of
Exactly.
the art design and here the like Divine's apartment is amazing. Like I would almost live there, but I would live there probably ironically, and that's really bad. You shouldn't live places
Just like
ironically.
once a week.
Once a week, yeah. It's like all red and not velvety, like it looks cheap, which kind of works, right? And there's like cages, and it's awesome. And I love that he always has great makeup. The people he puts in his movies, like he has a lot of recurring characters and actors. They always look so interesting. Like he loves to look at people who are like, I want to say monstrous, but like monsters in the most affectionate way imaginable. He's not interested like in Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want, maybe he would now, but he wouldn't want Jane Fonda in his movie.
Well, it's interesting too. I mean, maybe we can even use this as a transition to Polyester.
Okay, let's do this.
But I think it's interesting because I was thinking Polyester is most him overtly referencing like 50s melodrama.
Yeah, it really is.
And I was thinking throughout the movie, imagining Divine basically as Joan Crawford. And just take any like Joan Crawford movie and replace with Divine, like Johnny Guitar with Divine, Daisy Kenyon with Divine, etc. And it's funny, really thinking of her as this kind of like star and whatnot.
She is a star, and she would fit. Joan Crawford is the perfect comparison for sure, because Joan Crawford does have that kind of like I keep saying over the top, but it's not really appropriate because it's not. It is, but it isn't. That's not the joy that you get from watching. Like someone like Divine. That's not because they're over the top. There is a lot of nuance, and there is a lot of excitement because of the unexpected and the raw emotion. And there is a lot of similarity to Joan Crawford, because Joan Crawford even has like a similar look with the eyebrows. And I remember like when Montreal had the Disney exhibition at the Fine Arts Museum, and they have like how Disney would like take from famous actresses, and so the Joan Crawford actually served as the inspiration for the Queen from Snow White. And so that's also, and like the makeup there is even more overtly like what Divine usually makes herself up as, and it's really a good comparison.
And with Polyester too, I mean, I just mentioned stripped of aesthetics. This seems to have it seems to be a little higher budgeted, I think.
It looks like,
because there's like there's this
really good
pan through the house at the beginning and whatnot, but it's funny how John Waters, even with a little more money, when he just puts Divine and another actress together yelling at each other, it kind of like it eats away at any like higher budget. I find it instantly puts it back, and this is definitely a John Waters movie.
He does have that kind of magic. I feel like he never tries to be something he's not. And I haven't seen all of his films, and it'll probably be a while before I do, just because there's actually he's made quite a bit of movies, but they always feel very authentically his. He has a very unique touch. And I don't think it's like he does it because he wants to be an auteur in like a very elitist sense. I think he just enjoys what he likes. He likes this, and this is what he was going to do. He likes to have fun. He's not going to make something that is not going to be an enjoyable experience.
And with this too, I mean, we just mentioned it, brought up like 50s melodrama, but he's also taking from 50s, he's talking from William Castle a lot, because there's this kind of smell-o-vision throughout the movie.
I wish I had the little scratches. Part. I don't.
And it's funny too, because I mean, it's sort of like off the bat, it's kind of saying don't take things in this movie too seriously. But I like again how he's like blending his influences. Yeah,
he definitely, like whenever I watch John Waters movies, as dark and perverse and out there as they can be, like I always have like this sort of joy of living from them, because it's like he seems to love things like very intensely, and he loves his actors, and he loves this universe.
It reminds me actually of his guest spot in The Simpsons.
That was a great episode.
Yeah, as he's Todd is his name.
I don't remember.
I watched the episode again recently. I should
just remember. To get back into the
yes, and he's a kind of a kitsch obsession.
Yeah, he has an obsession with kitsch, like board games
and he has a thing where he's got the laser gun. He's like zap. And, and that obviously he was perfectly cast for that.
He's always like an amazing presence in whatever he does. He's so, like, even at the end of the year, like, all the critics release their top 10 list. I look forward to John Waters' top 10 list. I'm like, this is the definite best of the year.
I remember when he put the Justin Bieber movie on it, he was like saying, I loved being in like a crowd full of young girls with Justin Bieber like mop his hair. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, he just has that passion, and he's a beautiful writer, and he has such a sense of humor about himself as well, that I just find him and his work infectiously lovable. Like, I see why people will be, like, perturbed by it, because a lot of it is obviously disturbing. But on the other hand, there's so much love in his work that raises it to the next level for me. Polyester has like a lot of love too, just with the relationship between Divine and her friend Cuddles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a weird buddy, not a buddy cop movie.
I think too that she's sacrificing herself for her family. I mean, she cares very much about her slut daughter and her foot stomping son.
Yeah, I mean, John Waters comes up with the best fetishes out there. Foot stomping. Yeah. It's a good one. It's not actually that arousing though. I guess not for me. So, do you have a favorite John Waters movie?
I really do like Female Trouble quite a bit.
Female Trouble. I asked the question. I don't even have the answer to what I would answer. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Like maybe Crybaby.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
Crybaby with Johnny Depp. That's really good.
Dirty Shame.
I haven't seen Dirty Shame. We're breaking the fourth wall right now. So I think that's basically it. I think I'm gonna definitely check out I Am Divine, because I think it's gonna be an awesome documentary.
Yeah, and Divine's terrific. Also, I'd recommend, if you want to see some stuff, I recommend Trouble in Mind, which is directed by Alan Rudolph, and you see Divine playing a gangster, like not in drag or anything, and he's really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out too. So thank you very much for watching. Be sure to let us know what you think, as well as tell us what your favorite John Waters movie, what you think of Divine. Are you going to go check it out at Fantasia? That's it. Thank you. Bye.